Hello. All right, we're going to do this really fast, but it is a reasonably complicated topic to get through. So this is why I'm recording a video today and not writing about it. So this is the notion of the customer journey. So it's a psychological process that every one of your customers go through to purchase a product. So it depends on the size of the purchase, and it depends on where they already are at in terms of, like, I guess, the customer journey for your product or industry. If there's a certain awareness, they may move through the process faster. If there's a lack of awareness and there needs to be more education or consideration before the purchase, you might find that people go through this slower. Obviously, for the customer journey for a pack of chewing gum is really fast because the risk is low. And the reward is low. But for something like, say, an international holiday, the customer journey is going to be a lot slower. Somebody may be inspired to go on holidays a couple of years before they even start booking. The consideration and research phase is going to be a little bit longer as well, because it's a higher risk, higher reward, higher cost opportunity or purchase. So what is the customer journey? So I'll show you. Let's start with, let's call it awareness. Bear with me. All right. And I'm just using Adobe InDesign here, just because I'm familiar with it. It's a really quick and easy way for me to sort of sketch this up. All right. So there's a break from the status quo. So when somebody is considering purchasing something, or like they're essentially trying to solve a problem. So there's a break from the status quo. Something triggers them to move from where they are now to looking for a solution to their problem, or that problem might be an opportunity, like a holiday, for example, or a tour or something like that. So they become aware. So something triggers them into awareness that this problem exists. Now, the key thing about the customer journey is what you want to do in your marketing. It's your job as a marketer or as a manager, tourism business marketer or manager, to help the customer move through the journey. So you can do you've got two things you can do there. One is to give them the information they need the information or tools they need at each stage to move through the journey. So I'll show you the next step of the journey here. So the next step might be, say, consideration. I'll give you an example. After research, it might be booking, right? Or purchase. So for example, anticipation, okay. And the experience or the product. And then there might be a loyalty phase, right? So we're going around in the circle here this way. And then there's loyalty or sharing. So what I was saying before, your job to help somebody move through this process. So if, let's say, you're a tour company and somebody moves from awareness, consideration, they've done a bit of research, they've got the details of the different tour operators, they know where they want to go out from, and they know the experience that they're choosing, they need to be able to book. If you don't have a telephone, if you don't have a booking system on your website or some other way to book them, they literally can't move to the next stage of the customer journey. So they're going to choose somebody else, or they're not going to go at all. So that's a really obvious, I guess, what's the word? Like a bottleneck or tool that you need to introduce into the customer journey to move them through. But there are other things that you can do even as a marketer to move them through that customer journey. And it's your job to understand what your customers need at each step, and then to give it to them, or to at the very least meet them there. And this is a good way. Using this customer journey is a really good way for you to choose the channels that you need to be on to meet your customers. And what I mean by that is, so let's say it's a nature experience. I'm considering a nature experience for my family. I'm in an unfamiliar region or state, and I'm looking at the options. So something's triggered me to awareness. So that might be either a marketing trigger, or just a trigger in my life. So say I've pulled up in a new city, in a new state, and I've had a conversation with the local, and they've said to me, oh, there's a number of tours that run off out of the waterfront that are fantastic nature experiences for kids. You should take a look at them, right? Suddenly I'm aware, and now I've moved into the consideration phase. So we're going this way. Really need to color that line so you can actually see it. I'm going to do this because I want this on there. All right, so we're going this way. When they get to consideration, what do they need? Or where are they going to be? Word of mouth. So they might be asking other people in the holiday park, in the accommodation they're at, the concierge, wherever they might be. So it's word of mouth. They're going to be using Google. They may be starting to look at TripAdvisor. They may be reading magazines. So let's say there's a like, I don't know, like a local What's On. That might be the perfect example. So these are the marketing channels that the people that customers are using when they're at the consideration phase of the customer journey for this experience. You can lay over any product or experience into this. Like I said at the start, everybody who makes a purchase moves through this process at different tempos depending on the size and the risk and the nature of the purchase, but everybody moves through this process. So that's a consideration. At research phase, so let's say they've moved through consideration, they know that they're going to make a purchase, and now they're actually starting to try and lock in some of those details. So they're going to start to hit websites. When are you running the tours? How much do they cost? How often, what time do they go out? What days are they available? All those sorts of things. They might be back on TripAdvisor to start to look a little bit deeper into the reviews. Now they're not just looking at, you've got a 4.5 star rating. They're looking for keywords like, families and safety and all, those sorts of things. And it may be even things like, do we get do we get lunch when we're out there? Websites, TripAdvisor, they're probably not on, in magazines anymore when they're doing the research. Let's not overcomplicate it. And let's just say they're on websites and they're on TripAdvisor. And they might actually, where else? They might be on Google looking at, reviews on Google as well. Once they make that decision, they're ready to book. So they're on your website or on a website placing the booking. When they're anticipating, so let's say they've booked and there's a 3 to 4 day wait before they actually go on it. If let's say you're going to the Maldives, you might have a 12-month anticipation period between booking and actually departing for your destination. So there's a long period there, and it's an opportunity for you as a marketer or as a business owner to reach your customer and to build the anticipation, but also to bring them closer to your brand and engage them in ways that you maybe haven't considered. So for example, say with this tour, we might use email marketing to send out an email to customers saying, this is the location, this is the time you need to turn up, and this is the information that you need to, to be prepared on the day. Make sure you bring sunscreen, make sure the kids have shoes on, all those sorts of things. And maybe just, functional information like that. It may be other things like, you might have stuff like hire a GoPro on the day, and other sort of like add-ons that you can help them prepare for the day or get inspired and looking forward to the day through your email marketing. So that's anticipation. You might also use social ads. So social ads can be used to target people. Actually, we probably should have had, definitely social media should have been up here. And research, we could have used social ads. This is probably organic social, asking people, talking to people. This is social ads down here. And the way that we can use social ads here is if we know that somebody has completed a purchase on the website, we can run specifically targeted ads just to the people who've completed a purchase on the website and give them more information. So I know you might be thinking, why would we pay to run ads to people that have already committed to us or have to make a purchase? And the whole point is to create a remarkable experience that people are going to rave about. That's it. Just to create a remarkable experience that people are going to rave about. So do people rave about a typical and a completely ordinary experience, things that are completely within the norm? They don't. Of course they don't. We rave about things that are outside the norm, that exceed our expectations. If you're receiving ads on social that's saying, I don't know, say it might be like, we might run for this tour, we might show some content of a family that's hired a GoPro on the day and got footage that they wouldn't have otherwise got in or around the water, and you don't have a GoPro. So it's inspiring you to hire a GoPro on the day, but it's also giving you a chance to capture memories that you wouldn't have otherwise captured. And we've just seen that through a social ad. Wouldn't you rather see, as a customer here in this customer journey, wouldn't you rather see a social ad on something you care about and something you're preparing for than some other rubbish ad that you couldn't care less about? So this is the customer journey continuing. So they might be on, in anticipation, they might be on emails, they might be on social, they're probably talking to people. We can't really influence that. The experience or product, that's when we get into some of that customer experience, I guess the customer experience planning, that planning process that we've talked about on the site before. Move into loyalty and sharing. This is your opportunity, probably again through email, social, word of mouth, maybe at the end of the day, even in person, you're giving, like at venue or in tour or whatever, you're giving them, I don't know, let's say it was a business card size, a little business card size flyer that says, here, use the hashtag here, share your images here for a chance to win we give away a GoPro once every 6 months to anybody that shares using this hashtag. Now that content is ridiculously valuable to you. You also have the chance to give that brochure or that card to, to the people that had an amazing experience and are most likely to share really well, or to share great content. Let's say brochures, flyers, things that are going to encourage them. Again, this is the customer journey. Where can we meet them as business owners or marketers, where they're going to be anyway in their customer journey, and what can we give them when we meet them there to help move through the customer journey and do what we want them to do. So why would we want them to move through this customer journey when they're at sharing and loyalty? Well, because that sharing and loyalty then becomes a trigger for new audience awareness. So if me as a dad, if I go on this tour and I get great content and I share it out to my social networks, then I'm probably going to inspire the next batch of people to potentially visit next time they're in the same city, on the same waterfront. They're much more likely to use this tour because they've seen somebody that they know, like, and trust, hopefully, use the tour and get a great experience. So it's much more important what people say about us than what we say about ourselves. So if you can inspire people at this loyalty sharing phase and not just leave it to chance, you're a much better chance at getting people to share and to use the language that you want them to do, to share reviews and all those sorts of things. So loyalty and sharing isn't just about sharing user-generated content on social media that then you can repurpose as well, but it's also about bulking up your reviews. So it's about review acquisition. So on this brochures and flyers, another thing that I would be doing is encouraging people that we know have had a great experience to review you on Google. So now that we've got, now this is a very rudimentary example, you want to go through here and actually flesh this out, and then particularly for your industry, say you're in the wine industry, there might be specific things to the industry like magazines and stuff that are specific to customers in that industry. But you want to go through here and note out any of the marketing channels where you have the opportunity to meet your customer. And when you do have that, the next step is then to create a marketing plan, which is a cohesive marketing strategy to utilize these channels to reach your customer and help move them through the customer journey. So that's next. Hopefully this has been insightful to help you understand the psychological process the customer goes through, and also your job as a tourism business owner or marketer to help give people what they need at each stage to move through the journey. So we'll leave that with you today. And we might pick up on running through a marketing plan next.